Welcome back. Today we will learn about the issue of Brady Black sacrificing his high-powered business path and aiming for a badge-free, boots-on-the-ground life at Black Patch to protect Rachel at any cost, a move driven by a secret that could blow Salem wide open if it ever comes out. Why Brady walks away. Brady's rethink begins after Marlena Evans quietly urges him to place Rachel's safety above everything, planting the idea that corporate wins mean nothing if his daughter's future is at risk, which shakes him more than any boardroom defeat ever could. Marlena's careful wording implies there's more danger circling Rachel than Brady sees, hinting at a truth she's not ready to expose, and that warning becomes the spark for a life-changing pivot away from Titan-style ambition toward hands-on protection work. As Brady looks at the DiMera and Kiriaki's power plays raging in Salem, he recognizes that deals and dividends won't shield Rachel from legal and emotional fallout if the real story of EJ's shooting surfaces. The secret Marlena's guarding. Recent developments point to Marlena holding back a devastating revelation. Rachel is connected to the EJ shooting mystery in a way that could unravel multiple lives if mishandled, which is why Doc is laser-focused on keeping the child insulated while seeking a safer path forward. Speculation has swirled that hypnosis sessions and fragmented memories identified a female shooter, steering suspicion away from Johnny and toward a shocking possibility that intersects with Marlena's ethical tightrope as both therapist and grandmother. Between whispered confessions, doctored evidence, and fragile recollections, Marlena's silence functions like a dam. One crack, and the entire narrative could flood the courts and the press, with Rachel at the center. Rachel at the crossroads. Rachel's behavior and trauma responses have been under scrutiny, with signs of anxiety and lingering shock that demand professional intervention rather than public spectacle, which aligns with Brady's push for therapeutic care over courtroom warfare. The child's instability isn't born in a vacuum. Years of parental conflict, Kristen's extreme tactics, and the DiMera vortex have left scars that make her vulnerable to manipulation and panic, deepening Brady's urgency to shield her from further harm. Marlena's clinical approach, careful, guarded, and protective, suggests she's balancing the need for truth with the imperative to prevent a child from being crushed by adult agendas. From CEO to Black Patch. Brady's solution is radical but logical. Step into John Black's lane and join Black Patch, bringing a father's determination to a job built for surveillance, evidence gathering, and fast, quiet fixes, exactly the tools needed to steer Rachel away from legal peril. The move honors legacy as much as it protects family, placing Brady shoulder to shoulder with Steve Patch Johnson on cases where speed and discretion determine who gets hurt and who walks away whole. With Salem's corporate scene melting down under DiMera and Kiriaki's warfare, a career swap positions Brady where his instincts matter most, on the street, not in a shareholder meeting. The rescue plan. If Rachel faces the threat of arrest or exposure, Black Patch offers a pipeline to gather exculpatory evidence, disprove false narratives, and redirect blame toward the true puppet masters behind the chaos, all while keeping a child's name out of headlines. That includes tracking doctored media, locating hard proof of who tampered with what, and building a clean chain of custody that can withstand legal scrutiny without requiring a traumatized minor to testify. Brady's access to Salem's power brokers combined with Black Patch's fieldcraft becomes a shield. Find the truth, sanitize the path, and deliver a solution that spares Rachel from a cell and from lifelong stigma. Marlena's ethical storm. Marlena's rumored hypnosis breakthroughs and memory management raise classic conflicts between clinical ethics and family loyalty, and her choices could determine whether Rachel's name ever appears in a charging document, or vanishes into protected therapy notes. If EJ's recollections point toward a young female relative, Marlena may attempt memory blocks or redirection to prevent a catastrophic court disclosure, knowing that once a child's identity is revealed, there's no undoing the fallout. Her plea to Brady to guard Rachel, no matter what, isn't just grandmotherly concern, it's a pressure valve release that signals the stakes have escalated beyond normal family drama. EJ, Johnny, and the ripple effect. EJ's road from victim to witness has been muddied by false evidence and protective instincts for Johnny, which means the official narrative is brittle and vulnerable to collapse if the right investigator tugs the right thread. Black Patch is uniquely suited to pull that thread without triggering a public unraveling, reconstructing timelines, vetting hypnosis-derived leads, and exposing doctored assets that framed the wrong suspect. For EJ, the truth might bring peace but also moral crisis, for Johnny, exoneration without collateral damage, and for Rachel, a chance to heal in private rather than in shackles. Kristen's wildcard role. Kristen's history of interference, jealousy-fueled maneuvers, intimidation, and strategic secrecy, means she can both endanger and protect Rachel depending on what serves her in the moment, complicating Brady's every move. If Kristen senses exposure on the horizon, she could confess to a crime she didn't commit, redirect suspicion, or sabotage evidence to keep Rachel insulated, forcing Brady and Black Patch to fight a two-front battle, the legal truth and Kristen's counternarrative. Brady's pivot away from suits to stakeouts isn't just about skill, it's about outmaneuvering someone who thrives in the gray zones of Salem law and love. What happens next? Look for Brady to test-drive Black Patch resources while quietly withdrawing from corporate entanglements, signaling to allies that his priorities have permanently changed and that he'll burn his resume if it buys Rachel a chance at normalcy. Marlena's counsel will remain the compass, guiding Brady to solutions that favor therapy and protection over prosecution, even as the truth inches closer to daylight through hypnosis, leaks, and loose ends. If a crisis hits, expect a rapid response operation, Steve and Brady moving in tandem to neutralize threats, bury false leads, and deliver the one outcome that matters, Rachel safe, stable, and free. The legacy fulfilled. In the end, this isn't merely a career change, it's a son becoming the kind of protector his father modeled, swapping influence for impact and proving that the strongest title in Salem isn't CEO, it's guardian. Fans have long imagined Brady stepping into Black Patch to honor John's legacy, and now the urgency around Rachel finally crystallizes that dream into action with life-or-death stakes. For a man who's lost almost everything to family wars and dangerous loves, choosing the badgeless path is both redemption and strategy, the only path that puts Rachel first, forever. Part 2, Heartbreak and Deception. Days of Our Lives teases emotional turmoil over baby Tesoro on Thursday, September 18th. Oh, dear readers, if you've been following the twists and turns of Days of Our Lives for as long as many of us have, perhaps since the days when the show first flickered onto our television screens in the 1960s, you know that Salem is a place where love, lies, and family secrets collide like a summer storm. Tomorrow, on Thursday, September 18, 2025, the drama intensifies around the tiny bundle of joy known as baby Tesoro. This innocent child, caught in a web of adult deceptions and desperate longings, becomes the center of a whirlwind of heartbreak, betrayal, and fleeting hopes. We'll dive deep into the spoilers, painting a vivid picture of the anguish and intrigue unfolding in this beloved soap opera. Grab your cup of tea, settle into your favorite chair, and let's unravel the stories that will have us all clutching our pearls by episode's end. The tug-of-war over baby Tesoro, a mother's cry and father's farewell. At the heart of tomorrow's episode beats the fragile pulse of baby Tesoro, a child whose very name whispers of hidden treasures and unspoken dreams. For Chanel Dupree, played with such fiery grace by Raven Bowens, this little one represents more than just a baby, it's a second chance at the motherhood she once thought lost forever. Chanel's journey has been one of profound loss and quiet resilience. Remember how she navigated the shadows of grief after her own heartbreaking losses? Now, with Tesoro in the picture, her maternal instincts roar to life like a lioness protecting her cub. In the episode, we see Chanel's eyes light up with a mix of fierce determination and tender vulnerability as she declares her unyielding desire to claim this child as her own. "This baby is mine," she might as well say, her voice steady but laced with the tremor of someone who's been broken and rebuilt too many times. It's a moment that tugs at the soul, reminding us how the deepest pains can forge the strongest loves. But oh, the tragedy that shadows her joy. Across town, in a dimly lit hospital room that smells of antiseptic and shattered illusions, Leo Stark, Greg Ricart, ever the master of melodramatic flair, and Javi Hernandez, Al Calderon, bringing a raw, boyish charm to his role, face their darkest hour yet. These two unlikely allies, Leo, the flamboyant schemer with a heart of gold buried under layers of wit, and Javi, the earnest young man grappling with his place in Salem's chaotic family tree, have poured their souls into caring for Tesoro. From the very first moment they laid eyes on this cherubic infant, they knew deep down that the child wasn't biologically theirs. It was a truth whispered in hurried conversations and confirmed by cold medical facts. And yet, love doesn't heed DNA tests or legal fine print. They rocked the baby through sleepless nights, sang silly lullabies in voices cracked with emotion, and dreamed of a future where they could shield this tiny soul from the world's cruelties. Technically, as the episode cruelly underscores, Tesoro wasn't even under their direct care. That burden, and that bittersweet privilege, fell to Rafe Hernandez, Galen Gehring, Javi's steadfast uncle, whose broad shoulders have carried the weight of too many family crises. Rafe, with his no-nonsense demeanor and hidden soft spot for the vulnerable, has been the quiet guardian, pacing hospital corridors and whispering promises to the sleeping child. But tomorrow, the hammer falls. Leo and Javi learn the devastating news: they must relinquish Tesoro. The words hit like a thunderclap, delivered perhaps by a stern social worker or a sympathetic doctor, their faces etched with regret. Leo's usual quips falter into stunned silence, his manicured hands trembling as he cradles the baby one last time. Javi, tears streaming down his face, clings to the moment, his youthful idealism cracking under the weight of reality. How do we say goodbye to a piece of our hearts? Javi might choke out, his voice breaking in a way that echoes the sobs we've all shed over lost loved ones in our own lives. This handover isn't just a plot point, it's a symphony of sorrow, a reminder of how fragile our bonds can be. As Chanel steps forward to embrace her new role, the camera lingers on the empty space where Leo and Javi stand, their world dimmed. Will this loss forge them closer, turning rivals into brothers in arms? Or will it unleash a storm of resentment that ripples through Salem's already turbulent waters? The episode leaves us hanging on that precipice, hearts aching for these men who dared to love beyond bloodlines. Tate's cunning trap, love, lies, and a baby's shadow. Meanwhile, in the sun-dappled parks and bustling coffee shops of Salem, where young hearts race with the fervor only first loves can ignite, a different kind of deception brews, one laced with the sting of teenage betrayal. Enter Tate Black, Leo Howard, capturing that brooding intensity so perfectly, the handsome scion of the powerful black family, whose life has been upended by whispers of a lost child. Unbeknownst to him, his ex-girlfriend Sophia, Rachel Boyd, with her wide-eyed innocence masking sharper edges, has spun a tangled web of lies about their supposed baby. Sophia's deception isn't born of malice alone, it's a desperate grasp at salvaging a romance that slipped through her fingers like sand. She's painted a picture of tragedy, a premature birth, a fragile infant fighting for life, all to reel Tate back into her orbit. But Tate, sharp as a detective in one of those old noir films we adore, senses the cracks in her story. Tomorrow, he hatches a plan so audacious, so deliciously dramatic, it could only unfold in the hallowed halls of daytime television. Picture this: Holly Jonas, Ashley Puzimis, her youthful fire reminiscent of the spirited heroines from our era's golden age of soaps, storms into the scene, her cheeks flushed with righteous fury. She's just overheard Sophia's honeyed words to Tate, tales of shared sorrow over their baby that twist the knife in Holly's already wounded heart. "You're trying to steal him from me," Holly accuses, her voice rising like a crescendo in a Verdi opera. The air crackles with tension, friends turn foes, loyalties tested in the cruel arena of young love. But in that electric moment, Tate's mind whirs like a well-oiled machine. Why confront Sophia head-on, risking her defenses snapping shut like a clamshell? No, our clever lad opts for subtlety wrapped in seduction. He feigns a softening toward Sophia, his blue eyes twinkling with feigned remorse. "Maybe we were too hasty breaking up," he murmurs, his hand brushing hers in a gesture that's equal parts actor's craft and calculated risk. It's a brilliant ruse, one that preys on Sophia's vulnerability, the raw ache of rejection that makes her cling to any scrap of hope. As she lowers her guard, spilling secrets in a flood of relieved confessions, Tate edges closer to the truth. But at what cost? The episode teases the peril: one wrong word, and his trap could snap back, ensnaring his own heart in the process. For Holly, the sting of this perceived betrayal cuts deepest. She's poured her soul into Tate, dreaming of proms and futures under starlit skies, only to watch him play the gallant knight to another. Enter Ariana Grace, Marissa Reyes. Holly's steadfast confidant, whose warm smile and wise beyond her years advice feel like a hug from an old friend. In a quiet corner of the town square, perhaps over steaming mugs of chamomile tea, Ari leans in close. "Don't you dare give up on him, Holly," she urges, her tone a blend of gentle steel and unwavering faith. "Tate's heart is yours. Fights like this are just the storms before the rainbow." Ari's words aren't empty platitudes, they're the lifelines we've all thrown to loved ones in times of doubt, drawing from the well of shared experiences that bind women across generations. But can Holly hold on to that spark of hope when she glimpses Tate's reconciliation with Sophia? The camera pans to her face, a mask of determination cracking at the edges, leaving us to wonder, will she storm the castle, demanding answers, or let jealousy fester into something darker? It's the stuff of classic soap suspense, where every glance and whisper could topple empires of the heart. Romance rekindled, or ruined, Anna and Tony's night of passion interrupted. As the sun dips low over Salem's manicured lawns, casting long shadows that dance like lovers in a waltz, we turn to a storyline that harkens back to the golden age of romance novels, the kind with embossed covers and sighs on every page. Anna DiMera, Leanne Hunley, whose elegant poise has graced our screens for decades, and Tony DiMera, Tao Penglis, exuding that timeless charm of a leading man from the silver screen, are the epitome of enduring passion. He's her Prince Charming, straight out of a fairy tale, with his tailored suits and courtly manners that make a lady feel like the only star in the sky. She's his slightly goofy lady love, her laughter bubbling like champagne, her quirks endearing rather than off-putting, a perfect foil to his refined demeanor. Together, they've weathered scandals that would sink lesser ships, corporate intrigues, family feuds, and the occasional resurrection from the dramatic depths of soap lore. Tomorrow night, in the opulent glow of the DiMera mansion, think crystal chandeliers twinkling like captured fireflies and velvet drapes whispering secrets, they decide to reclaim the magic that's flickered but never fully dimmed. It's a spontaneous choice, born of stolen glances over dinner and the electric brush of fingers across a linen tablecloth. "Let's make this night ours," Tony suggests, his voice a low rumble that sends shivers down Anna's spine. They linger in the grand bedroom, the air thick with anticipation. Sparks fly, not in metaphor but in the very real chemistry that crackles between them, soft kisses that deepen into fervent embraces, whispers of forever mingling with the rustle of silk sheets. It's a scene that celebrates the beauty of love in our later years, proving that passion doesn't retire with age but ripens like fine wine, growing richer with time. Yet, in true days of our lives fashion, no bliss is without its barb. Enter Kate Roberts, Lauren Koslow, the queen of calculated glamour, her every arched eyebrow a weapon in the arsenal of intrigue. Kate, with her sharp tongue and sharper ambitions, has always orbited the DiMera world like a hawk eyeing its territory. Does she harbor a secret desire to drive a wedge between Tony and Anna? The episode hints at ulterior motives, perhaps a business deal gone sour, or an old flame reignited in the embers of jealousy. As the clock strikes midnight, Kate's heels click ominously on the marble floors, her knock at the door a harbinger of havoc. Will she burst in with accusations, her perfume-scented presence shattering the fragile bubble of romance? Or is it a subtler sabotage, a planted doubt, a whispered rumor that poisons the well? Tony and Anna freeze mid-embrace, their eyes locking in a silent plea for this interruption to be a mere dream. But Kate's timing is impeccable, as always, turning a night of rekindled fire into a tinderbox of tension. What drives Kate? Is it lingering affection for Tony, a possessiveness born of their shared history? Or something more sinister, like a plot to consolidate power in the ever-shifting DiMera empire? The episode doesn't reveal all, of course, that's the cruel genius of soaps, but it plants seeds of suspicion that will bloom into full-blown tempests in weeks to come. For Anna and Tony, this intrusion is more than an annoyance, it's a test of their bond, a reminder that in Salem, even the sweetest honeymoons can curdle overnight. Echoes of Salem's enduring legacy, why these stories resonate. As the credits roll on Thursday's episode, we'll be left with a tapestry of emotions, tears for lost dreams, cheers for cunning plans, and a collective sigh for loves both won and threatened. Baby Tesoro's fate intertwines the threads of family and forgiveness, reminding us that the ties we forge aren't always the ones we're born into. Tate's deception, while manipulative, underscores the raw ache of youth's uncertainties, a mirror to the heartaches we navigated in our own tender years. And Anna and Tony's interrupted idyll? It's a love letter to commitment, proving that at any age, the heart's fire can burn bright against the winds of interference.